As a Japanese housewife living in the US, I want to look at the counterfacts of socialization from unique perspectives.
How to Win Friends and Influence People, a single narrator script inspired by Dale Carnegie. This script is written for calm narration and editing, and it focuses on practical use in modern work and daily life. The book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is often described as simple, but simple does not mean easy. The ideas ask for emotional discipline, patience, and genuine respect for other people. If those are missing, the methods turn into manipulation. And people notice. The core claim is that influence is not primarily a speaking skill.
Influence is a relationship skill.
It is the ability to lower resistance, raise trust, and help another person feel safe enough to change their mind or take action. Dale Carnegie developed these ideas while teaching adults. He taught speaking and presentation. Over time, he noticed something. The real goal of a talk in business is rarely the talk itself. The real goal is what happens after the talk. A decision is made, a contract is signed, a conflict is resolved, a team agrees, a customer returns. So Carnegie shifted from technique to purpose. He studied what makes people cooperate. He looked for patterns in history, psychology, and he observed leaders and salespeople, and he tested lessons with students in real conversations. After years of refinement, the lessons became a book. Today, the environment is different. Communication is faster, attention is fragmented, and social media amplifies conflict. But the human nervous system is not new. People still want respect, safety, and belonging, so the principles still apply as long as they are used with sincerity. This script will cover 9 principles, and each one comes with a practical application. Section 1. Begin with an honest respect for the other person. Many people approach persuasion like a contest. They enter a conversation with a hidden message. I must win. That mindset creates tension. Even if you hide it, people sense it. Carnegie begins from a different place. A person is not a problem to solve. A person is a world to understand. If you cannot respect them, you cannot influence them for long. Respect does not mean you agree with everything. It means you recognize their dignity. It means you treat them as a full human, not as an obstacle. In practice, this starts with tone. Speak slower. Leave space. Avoid sarcasm. Avoid performative superiority. When you respect the other person, you create a basic condition for cooperation. Section 2. Do not start by attacking, blaming, or condemning. Blame feels satisfying for a moment. It releases emotion, but it usually triggers defense. The other person stops listening and starts protecting their identity. Carnegie warns that criticism often produces resentment, not change. Even when the criticism is correct, the delivery can ruin the effect. A better approach is to describe facts and impact without turning the other person into a villain. A simple structure works. State what happened. State the impact on you, on the team, or on the goal. State what you want next time. For example, a meeting started late, and the agenda was not ready. The result was that decisions were postponed. Next time, the agenda needs to be shared the day before. This approach focuses on outcomes and improvement. It reduces shame, and it increases the chance the other person stays present. Section 3. Try to understand what the other person wants. Influence is easier when it is aligned with the other person's desire. People rarely move for your reasons alone. They move when they see a benefit that matters to them. This is not cynicism. It is empathy with structure. When you enter the conversation, ask yourself a quiet question. What are they trying to protect? And what are they trying to gain? Sometimes they are protecting time. Sometimes they are protecting status. Sometimes they are protecting a routine that feels safe. Sometimes they are protecting pride. If you can name the desire, you can propose a path that respects it. In a workplace, an engineer wants clean requirements so they can deliver quality and avoid rework. A salesperson wants speed and flexibility to close deals. Those desires can collide. Influence comes from acknowledging both and designing a process that reduces friction. Section 4. Talk less about yourself and invite the other person to talk. People often think charisma is speaking well. Carnegie emphasizes the opposite. Many people feel drawn to a person who listens well. When someone feels heard, they relax. They share more information. They become less defensive. They become more open to your suggestion because they trust you will not dismiss them. A practical technique is to ask open prompts, then stay quiet. Tell me more about the constraint. Walk me through what happened. What would a good outcome look like for you? What is the hardest part of this right now? Then listen and reflect back what you heard. Use short summaries. Accuracy matters more than This does not require being passive. It requires timing. Listen first, then influence. Section 5. Let the other person save face. One of the fastest ways to create an enemy is to humiliate someone. Even small humiliation, in public or in private, can turn a cooperative person into a long-term opponent. Carnegie argues that people do not forget the feeling of being made small. They may obey, but they will resist later, sometimes quietly, sometimes openly. So when you correct someone, design the correction in a way that preserves dignity. Praise effort first if it is honest. Critique the process, not the person's character. Offer a path forward. Give credit when they improve. In a group setting, be especially careful. If possible, move hard feedback to a private channel. In public, focus on solutions, not on blame. Section 6. Make people feel important, and do it sincerely. This principle can sound dangerous if misunderstood. It is not about flattery. Flattery is cheap praise with an agenda. People can sense it. The goal is recognition. Humans want to feel useful. They want their effort to be seen. Sincere recognition is specific and grounded. Instead of saying, "Great job," say, "Your summary clarified the trade-offs, and it helped the team decide." Instead of saying, "You are smart," say, "You noticed the risk early, and it prevented a mistake." Specific recognition builds trust. It also creates a culture where good behavior is repeated because it is meaningful, not because it is demanded. Section 7. When you must disagree, begin with common ground. Disagreement is inevitable. The question is whether it becomes war or problem-solving. If you start with direct contradiction, people feel dismissed. Their identity is threatened. They defend. A safer entry is to acknowledge what you can genuinely agree with, then add your view. You can say, "I agree that speed matters, and I want to protect quality, so here is a process that does both." You can say, "I see why that looks efficient, and there is a risk we may regret, so I propose a small test first." This approach signals partnership. It makes disagreement feel less like rejection. Section 8. Invite cooperation by making the idea feel shared. People support what they help create. If you impose a solution, you may win in the moment, but you lose ownership. The other person may comply without commitment. Carnegie encourages a different move. Ask for input. Ask for improvement. Let the other person add to the plan. A useful line is, "What would you change to make this work?" Another is, "What concerns should we solve before we proceed?" Another is, "What would make this easier for your side?" When the other person contributes, the plan becomes partly theirs. Their dignity is involved. Their identity is involved. That makes follow-through more likely. Section 9. Use these principles with boundaries. This final section matters because the book is sometimes misunderstood as a manual for pleasing everyone. Influence is not submission. Respect is not self-erasure. Listening does not mean you accept abuse. So keep boundaries clear. If someone is insulting, you can end the conversation. If someone is dishonest, you can require evidence. If someone is repeatedly harmful, you can escalate, document, or leave. Carnegie-style communication works best with people who are capable of good faith. If the environment is hostile, the first priority is safety and integrity, modern application, work, and online life. Many conversations now happen in writing. Email, chat, comments, and short messages can remove tone. That increases misunderstanding. So apply the same principles in text. Avoid writing in a way that sounds like a verdict. State facts first. Ask one clear question at a time. Show that you understand before you argue. Give the other person a dignified exit. Even small edits change outcomes. A message that begins with appreciation can reduce tension. A message that asks for collaboration can prevent defensiveness. A simple example. Instead of, "This is wrong," fix it. Right? "I may be missing context, and I see a risk here." Can you confirm and suggest a fix? This version reduces shame. It invites partnership. Closing. How to win friends and influence people is not about tricks. It is about a consistent attitude. Respect people. Avoid condemnation.